Jessica by the Allman Brothers has absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about today. Welcome to a new Nashville Masterclass. I am your host, James Edgar May, and today we're going to be talking about addiction, trauma, and homelessness, and the military. Now, I got a new camera, which will look a lot better. However, I don't know how to use it, and my editor is in the hospital. Let's hope she gets out soon, and I had to write my notes down. But, coming from a place of experience, the way the United States military and the VA is set up, it's not really set for success for people with trauma and addiction. Other than, movies about Vietnam, most people don't associate the military with, or they associate the military with honor and integrity. It's not thought of as a place for addicts. But when you have an environment where people are under high emotional stress, physical stress, where accidents and injuries are rife, you have the perfect storm for addiction. Many people who join, like me, were drug users beforehand. And that doesn't really change just because you start wearing the uniform. 1 in 10 veterans have been diagnosed with a substance abuse disorder. That's really low. Because it's not true. In 2015, a health-related behaviors survey found that only 1% of active duty members reported drug use. However, the survey relied on self-reporting, and the response rate was only 8.6%. And that's probably due to the zero-tolerance policies the U.S. military has. People are afraid to say anything because you're going to get in trouble. They're not going to care about you. 4% reported misusing prescription opioids, but a whole 2/3 of veterans report experiencing pain. Alcohol, of course, has a long history of being abused in the military. It's almost an initiation test. Everybody pushes to get drunk in the military. It's a big thing, it's something that's very much tolerated and kind of in vogue in the military. Veterans with a substance abuse disorder are 3 to 4 times more likely to receive a PTSD, depression diagnosis. I read that there was counseling and medication therapy available for active duty, but I don't know of any. Certainly when I was in, if you got caught even if you were addicted to the very pills they prescribed you, like I was, you were in trouble. And you were going to get kicked out with a dishonorable discharge, and we'll talk more about that in just a quick second. Veterans are estimated to be around 11% of the homeless population, and around 70% of homeless veterans have substance abuse disorder. There are numerous barriers preventing active duty and veterans from substance abuse care, like limited access to treatment, insurance coverage, and stigma and fear of consequences. In 2000, I wish I could read my writing a lot better. In 2013, a VHA study began the Opioid Safety Initiative and reduced opioid prescribing by 16% in the first 2 years, and revised clinical practice guidelines for prescribing opioids for chronic pain, which is not helping because veterans have serious pain issues. And stopping them from getting opioids is not really helping, because they're going to get their pills no matter what. And if you're not prescribing them, where do you think they're getting them? I just posted a news story on my group Facebook page by the same name. And these people are trying to sue the Army. Now, from what I understand, you can't sue the Army or the VA, because believe me, I would if I could. And if I find a way that you can, I probably am going to do it. But they're suing because when they, were addicted to the opioids in active duty, to get care, to get medicine and therapy, they were going to get a dishonorable discharge. You see, if you admit to being an addict and accept care for being an addict, you're going to get kicked out with a dishonorable discharge. Now, there's, I didn't get a dishonorable discharge, but that's because they knew they had done something really wrong and ordering me to do something that was illegal in the first place, and I get really injured, almost killed. Then they didn't obey any of the doctor's restrictions. So, I got out with an honorable. And there are a lot of other people that are not getting their... See, if you get a dishonorable discharge, you don't get any military benefits. So they are creating the perfect storm. They are creating the perfect environment for addiction, but they're not doing anything to help these people. No, if you're in the military, why, you're supposed to just suck it up, right? Right, soldier? And some people, were hurt and got on pills like, well, I didn't get addicted. Again, just because you did something doesn't mean everybody else can do it. All right? Everybody's different. Everybody's on their own journey. So I don't want to hear that. But we're stigmatized. We're supposed to be soldiers. Soldiers don't get addicted, right? We're not drug addicts. So we're really thought of as these supermen that are supposed to be able to withstand anything. And we're not. There's a new movie out called Cherry with Tom Holland, and it shows what happens. It's not just people that are injured in the military. It's the trauma. Why do you think veterans wake up in the night screaming? I did just, 3 days ago. Woke up everybody in the house screaming from nightmares. It's commonplace in the military. It's more than what people think. People hide their addictions in the military. I'm going to get that beagle. But it's time that the military and the VA start changing their practices, because they are very much setting us up for failure. And most any VA, they're not, you don't have a rehab. You get locked into the psych ward, and you're just locked out of your room. They don't give you medication. No, you're not going to get anything, because they don't even give normal what jails would give you for withdrawal. They won't even give you that at the VA. The doctors are not really trained on substance abuse disorder. They're just there. They're just kind of thrown in. They may have a weak course. They don't really know what's going on. It's very apparent that they don't know. I remember when I was in LA, talking to my dad, and he is like, son, please don't just die out there. Every day I read in the newspaper about another veteran dying in the gutter. And it's a story that we hear, all too often. And it's very real. Why do you think so much of the homeless population are veterans with substance abuse disorder? It's because we are expected to suck it up, pretend it's not happening, and go on our merry way, but that's not what's happening. Everything is breaking apart. One guy on YouTube, Jamison Travels, I disagree with a lot of things he says, but they're changing the way basic training is done to be, I don't know, easier, softer, which is wrong because you're going into war. You're going into war. No, there's no safe space there. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're gay or trans. If you can fight next to me anytime. But nobody gives a crap when you're at war. But they're not changing how they deal with substance abuse disorder. And veterans are paying the price. You know how many veterans a year commit suicide? I don't know. I couldn't find a steady number. It was all over the place. I know of 2 that killed themselves outside the VA in Murfreesboro because we do not get adequate care. We just don't. As veterans and active military, if you have substance abuse disorder, you are screwed. You're not going to get proper care, and you're going to get kicked out with a dishonorable discharge. So you got to hide it, which is really hard, believe me. You got to hide it, and then when you get out, try to get care from the VA, which is not much care at all. That's why so many veterans are dying in the street. And it's high time that we, as veterans, since active duty, really, they have their hands tied, right? They can't do much when they're in the Army. But as veterans, it's high time we have our voice heard. And as one, as a unit, not just let them do whatever they want. Tell them how they're going to care for us and for future generations of soldiers that come after us. Because we're the ones that sign on the dotted line, right? So we should be able to decide what care we get, not this ridiculous crap that they're giving us. And if you've ever been on good insurance, you know exactly how bad the VA really is. It's atrocious, and it's a slap in the face. You got YouTubers and TikTok kids that have never done anything hard in their life. They mouth some words to some crap song, and they have millions upon millions of subscribers and money. Why, veterans, we can't even get adequate care for the disorders and trauma, the trauma and disorders the military gives us. I hate this camera. I can't wait to get to use my new one. But as veterans, we need to do something. We know we need to. We know what we need to do. We need to write to our congressmen. We need to write to our senators. We need to write to the VA itself. We need to post on social media, and we need to continue doing it because we know the only time they're going to do the right thing is when they know they're being watched. And I, for one, am not going to just give up and let them run roughshod all over me, my battle buddies, and future generations. Think about some of your battle buddies you haven't seen in years. What happened to them? They could be in the streets. They could be addicted and suffering and not getting the care that they need. And just because you haven't had to suffer that, you think no big deal. But I bet if you saw them struggling, you would change your mind. And we all know how the VA really is. And I, for one, am not going to remain silent and just let it be whatever. I have another chance to get my 100% and have a lot riding on it. And even if I get it, I am going to get it. I'm going to get it. But I'm not going to just let it be. No. Everybody that needs help needs to get help. So it needs more than just me. It needs all of us that have worn the uniform to help others that didn't make it out so good. So guys, I'll see you on another one. I hope anybody that served, I hope these words had meaning, rang true, and I hope you help me do something about it. Until next time, if you're up at 2 a.m. and you hear the train whistle in the dark, you're not the only one. There's a lot of us out there that are alone, or scared, can't sleep, and we hear it too. So I'll see you guys on the next one.